The Steelers play the Falcons tonight in the preseason finale for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I've got all the storylines that you need to be watching for in this one. But before we get into that, later on tonight, we are going to be doing a Steelers Talk live watch party, and if you want to join us and kick it with your fellow Yinzers for every single regular season game this year and preseason game, by the way, we're doing live watch parties for every single game. So make sure you click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, because also if you want to become an expert on the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, we got daily videos for free here on the channel. Our goal is to give you guys the best damn Steelers coverage on the YouTube platform. Hopefully we're doing a good job of that. If you think so and you want to join us for our watch parties this year, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. All right, so the first storyline to watch for here is who's in the starting lineup. Okay, so week 3 of the preseason is generally viewed as the dress rehearsal, as as the practice game, if you will. And I'm very interested to see where Mike Tomlin has these different positions lined up when it comes to certain players, especially when it comes to the second inside linebacker position. Who plays more? Is it going to be Landon Roberts or is it going to be Quan Alexander? We pretty much know that Cole Holcomb is going to be the number 1 guy on the depth chart right now, but I'm interested to see how Mike Tomlin handles those other 2 gentlemen and how much they get to play here on Thursday night. Then also slot wide receivers, another one that I'm looking at. How much does Allen Robinson play versus Calvin Austin III? What's that dynamic going to look like in the first half of this one? I want to see that. And then also slot cornerback, of course, you got Chandon, Sullivan, and Elijah Riley completely going at each other's throats for that starting cornerback spot. And that's my second thing to watch for specifically, is this battle for the starting cornerback spot, which is absolutely up for grabs at this point. Head coach Mike Tomlin talked to the media about this and how this is still a position that could absolutely be won on Thursday. This is what he said. It's been tight. Both guys have been above the line. Both guys have made splash plays, and so we'll continue to rotate them in this last opportunity. Talking about Riley and Sullivan the way we have in the most recent outing. Now, here's the reality when it comes to both Chandon Sullivan and Elijah Riley. I trust both of these guys to be on the field. If somebody starts and that person gets injured, I wouldn't have any problem putting the other person into the game. I think they've both made some splash plays this preseason. They both have good training camps, and I think either one of them would be a decent option. So no matter what Mike Tomlin decides here in terms of a starter, I'm probably going to be okay with it. But let me know how you're feeling down there in the comments section. Let me know who wins this battle here on Thursday night. Who's going to be named the starting slot corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2023? Will it be Chandon Sullivan? Give me a CS if you think it's him, or if you think it's going to be Elijah Riley, kind of coming out of nowhere here this preseason. Give me an ER down there in the comments section. So my best guess here is that it's going to be Elijah Riley. Now, we've been hearing all offseason long, all the way back into OTAs and mandatory minicamp, that this guy's been making plays in the slot. Formerly a safety, moving over to slot corner this year. He's really taken it, man, and he's done a fantastic job. At 214 pounds, he'd be pretty darn big for a slot corner in the National Football League, but this guy can straight up play. He's a really good blitzer. He's a really good run defender, being a former strong safety, and he's good in coverage as well. He's made a bunch of splash plays, a ton of interceptions at training camp practices this year. And Chandon Sullivan, although I would trust him on the field as a starter, I just don't think he's going to make as many splash plays as an Elijah Riley, because in this Mike Tomlin defense, that slot cornerback position is kind of a weapon that Mike Tomlin likes to use on blitzes, in run defense, all these different things. It's a very important role in this defense, and I just think Elijah Riley's been just a slight bit more impressive than Chandon Sullivan to this point, but I do think both men end up making the final 53-man roster. Then my third thing to watch for here in this one is going to be, how does Naji Harris look? Okay, because we've been talking on the show about Najee Harris versus Jaylen Warren and whether or not Najee should still be the running back 1, given the way that Jaylen has really come on the scene this preseason. But here's the thing, man. Najee Harris is still a very, very talented individual. He's a first-round pick for a reason. He's fast for his size, maybe not as fast as Jaylen Warren, but man, he is a bigger back that can really get in between the tackles and move the football forward. And he's still a very valuable piece to this offense. I still think he could be that true number one option for this team moving forward. It seems like Matt Canada, Mike Tomlin, and everybody else in this coaching staff believes in Najee Harris as their number one running back, and I have no reason to believe otherwise here. Now, I do think Jaylen Warren has a shot to usurp Najee as the number one running back on this team moving forward, especially if Najee can't get those yards per carry numbers up. Throughout his career, Najee has not been very good. It's been below 4 yards a carry, which is not what you want to see from your number one running back. And Jaylen brings not only a higher yards per carry number, but really dynamic ability as both a pass protector and then also as a pass catcher as a receiver. He's very shifty. He's really, really good in both of those areas, especially as a third down back. And I think that he could truly be, because of his explosive nature and the fact that he's actually built pretty well. It's not like he's a slight running back that can't take a lot of reps. I think Jaylen could absolutely handle a full workload. And you take a look at the points above replacement numbers from last season, Jaylen was actually more valuable to this team. He was worth almost 10 points, whereas Najee was worth about 8 points last year to the Steelers offense, according to points above replacement, which is a figure that every single front office in the NFL uses to determine the value of players. And, you could definitely chalk that up to a level of different things. Najee is a between the tackles runner. He doesn't score as many touchdowns, blah, 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 blah. All these different things. But, I'm looking at both of these guys, and I believe in both of them. I think Najee should get his fair shot, but it's also nice to see that Jaylen Warren is able to be that number one guy if Najee isn't up to the task. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, and I'm definitely interested to see how Najee does in his limited action against the Falcons tonight. Now, coming up here, 2 more things to watch for in tonight's preseason finale versus the Atlanta Falcons. I got 2 more things to tell you. But first, go ahead, go chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Steelers125 to get a 125% deposit bonus from our friends at BetUS. Now, what does that mean? That means if you put in a deposit of $100 to $600, that means they're going to give you 125% of that money back to you to use on your bet. So if you put in $100, they give you an additional $125 to use on your bet. So $225 total. And it's really fun to be betting on these preseason games because the games don't really count towards anything during the regular season. So you might as well make a little bit of money and have a little fun in that regard. Makes the game a little bit more engaging and enjoyable, in my opinion. So I'll be betting on stuff tomorrow. If you're going to be doing the same here, go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Steelers125 to get that 125% deposit bonus today. All right, now number 4 thing to watch versus the Atlanta Falcons. First-team offense versus first-team defense. We haven't really seen this for the Pittsburgh Steelers here, where Kenny Pickett and this first-team offense has pretty much been intact going up against the Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that had scattered starters on their defense, but it was pretty much their second-team defense. 3 scores, 3 TDs. That's exactly what you want to see against your first-team offense going against second-team defenses. But now, because we're in the dress rehearsal part of the preseason, we're going to see the big boys. We're going to see the ones on Atlanta's defense tonight, and it's going to be very interesting to see if Kenny Pickett, Jaylen Warren, George Pickens, they look as dominant as they did against the Bucs and Bills against the first-team defense. I don't think the Atlanta Falcons defense is that fantastic. I think it's about a mid-level, maybe a slightly below average NFL defense. So if Kenny Pickett and crew and Matt Canada are really going to prove themselves this year, this should be a pretty successful night for them, and I'm going to be looking for that here when they play, however long they play here in the first half. And then my final thing to watch out for in tonight's game, will Kenny Pickett dominate again? And that kind of ties into the first-team offense versus first-team defense. I want to see what Kenny Pickett looks like tonight in extended fashion, right? He's had 3 drives, 2 touchdowns. He's had some really impressive touchdown passes, especially that one to Pat Freiermuth. That was absolutely, chef's kiss kind of stuff, man. Like, that was like make an adjustment at the line, find an open space, put it on a dot, and then, of course, he puts the Kenny McGregor celebration on him after that one against the Bills defense. That was absolutely awesome to watch, and I can't wait to see what Kenny's going to be able to do tonight. This is going to be kind of that final test, going up against a true first-team defense in the National Football League. He's played against these defenses before. He played against them last year, of course, and he ended up winning the game, so I'm definitely interested to see what he's going to be able to do, because right now he just has 11 pass attempts, and I do think think that he's proven quite a bit, or actually hasn't proved that much so far in the preseason. Just 11 pass attempts. Now, it's been very efficient. It's been very good to this point, but I want to see what it looks like in extended fashion before I officially jump on the Kenny Pickett is a bona fide franchise quarterback train. I believe in the kid. I'm optimistic about what he's going to do tonight, but I still need to see more. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, what is your level of confidence in Kenny Pickett? Put it on a scale for me of 1 to 10 down there in the comments section. He's looked damn good in the preseason to this point, but going into tonight's game, what is your confidence level in QB1? For me, I'm at an 8, so I think that's pretty appropriate, right? You know, he's played against second-team defenses. I've seen a lot of good stuff from Kenny, both in training camp, in the preseason games. He looks sharp, even from the pocket, which is where he struggled last year. He's still got that playmaking element that really, I think, saved his season in 2022 was his ability to make plays outside of the pocket. But now he looks a lot more comfortable inside the pocket, moving things around with his pocket presence, with his footwork, finding guys over the middle. I think he looks a lot more comfortable this year, and it seems like Matt Canada has revamped the offense at least a little bit. So I say that I'm pretty darn confident here. I think an 8 is a pretty decent number to give here, but to say I'm 100% confident by giving him a 10, I think is a little bit foolhardy and looking a little bit too much into the future. So subscribe to the channel here. That's going to be it for today's show here, but you know, tonight we're going to be having our live watch party. We're going live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, getting ready for tonight's game. So go ahead right now, click that subscribe button if you want to join us for every single watch party that we're going to have throughout the 2023 season.